Ales coming right up. Hello, and welcome to the BRB. Please, have a seat. You're just in time for Tavern chatter.
There is no reason that diamonds should be valuable in D&D. Because the value of the diamond is entirely artificial.
Yeah.
In our world.
That is realistic. But here's my counter to it. In my world, they've already gone through
In my world, capitalism.
In my world, capitalism has already taken a bite.
On the value of a diamond, so let's say you purchase a diamond for 10 gold, and then you sell it to the cleric for 1,000 gold. Can they use it as...
No, we've actually talked about this
We've
before.
talked about this. And I honestly think that the creators of Dungeons & Dragons have also talked about this topic.
No, I'm on Brant's side.
No, I get where you guys are coming from.
What values the diamond at 1,000 gold?
Right.
Someone willing to sell it to you at 1,000 gold.
The willingness to buy it at 1,000. I think that's what...
Here's my thing. Here's my thing on this. I think in Dungeons & Dragons, diamond as like a magic cost. I don't think, because let's be honest, in our world, diamonds have almost no use, right? So they're not very valuable.
Their value outside of mechanical applications is entirely artificial.
I think in Dungeons & Dragons, because of their magical property, they are valued. I think because you entered a system where magic actually has to use a component.
Okay, so it's a matter of purity then.
It might be. It might be a purity of the diamond.
That also brings up another question. So you have to consume a finite resource.
Okay.
At that point, the diamond value is constantly rising. Because there's a finite number of them.
Okay.
Just make
Are you asking if there's inflation on magical components?
Kind of. At some point, does that 10 gold diamond become a 100 gold diamond?
I would say that's
because
a cool
it's more and more
thought.
rare.
Like, it's a cool thought until you think about the idea of a wizard being able to cast fabrication.
Yeah, no, you can make new diamond.
Like...
If you can... Okay, so here's the thing. When you consume gemstones and other spell components, they just vanish, right?
Yeah.
You are unmaking matter.
Yep.
Which means there's no rule saying you cannot create matter.
Transmutation school.
Yeah, okay.
If you just destroyed matter for magic, eventually the world would be destroyed. There'd be nothing left but magic, which is not matter. It's energy.
I'm going to be the wizard that's just going to sit there and create diamond as many
So now here's the problem, though. Certain spells forbid that. Like, there are literally parameters set in place for certain spells that you can only create an item of this value.
Right.
Like, and that is literally created and maintained by the goddess of magic.
So here's my crime take. He buys out a diamond mine and fabricates a bunch of diamonds and controls a monopoly in the price of diamonds.
You could do that.
So every diamond he has is worth 100 gold. Okay. So he just controls the market for diamonds forever.
Yes, it could be done.
Yeah, and that's just how he is now. Diamonds that, like, big, very small, are going to be worth as much gold as he wants because he controls the market now.
Yeah, so, yes, but I'm going to say this. This opens a whole nother thing that makes me really excited to try this out in my next campaign. And I hope a lot of people are listening and a lot of people actually think about this, because this gives you DMs a chance to give your players a diamond that is not of worth to what their actual spell is, because it has been downplayed by the market. So they buy it for what they need. Like, they're going to cast Revivify, right? But that diamond's not pure enough for Revivify. So they just bought a spell that fails.
So I looked up creation, which is the first thing that came up with creating diamonds in D&D. It does specify, so you can take any small amount of a material to create a larger amount of that material. You have to start with diamond to make more diamond, but you can make more diamond. The problem is, it has a caveat. Using any material created by this spell as another spell's material component causes that spell to fail. No matter what. If you create something with creation and then try to use it as a component, it fails. However, This opens up the door for decorative diamonds versus magical diamonds.
So this literally would bring into my thing that I just brought up. If Brian creates diamonds, right, and jumps their value, he sells a diamond that he has created for 300 gold used for the spell Revivify. The next time that cleric tries to use Revivify, it fails. Just outright.
Wait, so it's based on value?
No.
No, is it based on purity?
It's based on... So in this case, it was based if it was fabricated or not. In this specific case.
Okay, based on fabrication. So purity?
Sure.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's based on purity.
Purity would be the best way to sum it
Okay,
up.
so you buy a 10 gold worth of diamond.
Okay.
And you then modify it to where it has the purity value of 1,000 gold.
You can't. That's
You
the
can't.
thing. You can't. So using magic to create a component for magic specifically in that spell.
No,
Well,
you're
he's
not.
saying
No, you're
what-
just creating. You're just using tools,
What
like actual
he's
artisans'
saying-
tools, to.
You take a diamond that is valued low because it contains impurities, and then you remove those impurities. I mean, you're putting
I
work
don't
into
know
it.
enough about if you would give me the time to learn about the removing of impurities from diamonds, that sounds awesome. I love that for a party. I love the idea that you guys are able to buy that and then spend the time to make them better. I love that, but I don't know enough to say that that could be done or not.
To go off of that just a little bit, you guys have that ability in my campaign.
Yeah, we have
The
the
gem
ability.
cutter.
We go to the gem cutter.
You guys have...
We have a guy. We have a dwarven gem cutter in the city that we go to.
He's bad at his job.
No, he's fine.
He cracks some of them.
Oh my
a lot
gosh!
of them. A lot.
So he has the ability that sometimes when we bring him gems from the dungeon,
He can break them for a great amount of money.
oh my god, he can
I can usually mend them back together.
Still.
improve their purity so that we can sell them at a higher level.
It's not a purity.
It's not a purity.
He is cutting them. He is faceting them in a way that makes them more valuable, much as we do with ours
Yeah. So
in our world.
he's not doing the same thing.
He's artificially increasing the value by making it more appealing with a technique that very few people can do.
Okay, going back on value of a diamond. So you go to a person and you buy a diamond for 1,000 gold. Is it worth 1,000 gold diamond for a magical
I don't
piece?
think it is.
There's
I
gotta
don't
be-
think it. I think if you're buying those diamonds, they have been. I think if you go to a magical shop,
Yeah.
or I think if you're buying magical diamonds, the people who have set them out on display know that these are of a certain purity. They are selling these specifically as diamonds used for this type of magic. I don't think it's just kind of they got diamonds and they were like, I'm going to sell this for 300. That's what gives it its cost. I don't think that's how it's happening.
I imagine there is some form of regulation, whether it's a guild type thing where there's a council or a main body that values these prices at a standardized rate. Or it could even, if you're using it for a spell component, it could be valued by the goddess of magic. It could be a requirement on her part, which means there's no way to cheat it with, hey, I'll buy this for extra so you can use it.
Mistra in Faerun, in D&D, Mistra is very, very picky about magic. There was a lot of lore. I'm not going to go into it because it's honestly
You spent a day
that would be a
talking to me
totally
about
different
it.
show, and we're not doing that here. But Mistra, the goddess of magic, literally set guidelines for people. Back in the day, any person could do magic. Farmers could do magic. Maids could do magic. Anybody could do magic. It wasn't practiced, right? It was just we had the ability to. But because certain people fucked it up, it got limited and guided. Brant, what is the highest level spell that you can cast in Dungeons & Dragons?
9.
It used to be that you could go much further than 9. But Mistra limited us to 9. Even limited cantrips to being you can only use these if you're this practiced in magic. I would have to assume that a lot of the components are the same way. They have been carefully chosen to do the job that they're asked to do.
It's the idea that no matter what price tag you put on it, they're still going to follow the natural laws of the universe.
Okay, so if you are wanting to buy a diamond that's valued by the gods as 1,000 gold,
Yes.
and you can barter them down to even less than that,
It's still valued at
It's
1,000
still
gold.
Still be valued at 1,000 gold, yes.
and if you were to cause any imperfections to it, would it lose that value?
I think it would depend on the type of imperfection.
Are you introducing like a foreign material, or are you like breaking it?
I don't know. Small chip.
As long as you have all of the pieces, it shouldn't diminish in value.
I think if you have everything, but if it cracked into pieces and you're losing pieces of it,
Crush it into
honestly,
diamond dust. There's other spells that use that.
yeah, honestly, I think there are spells that use diamond dust, and those are valued at the weight of the diamond dust, right? Mm-hmm. So I think if you had a bag of diamond dust worth 1,000, you could still cast the spell you're looking to do, right? But if you were missing any amount of that, I don't think you could.
It also depends on if the spell specifies diamonds worth
Or
a certain value
diamond
or
dust.
a diamond worth so much.
I do think that it's very important how the component is listed. That's why in a lot of our games, I make you guys buy components. I'm not super picky about everything, but that's why when there are certain components of value, I'm not just letting you cast that spell. You have to have those components.
Weird question. Following back on the previous episode that we did about resurrection, can you use a resurrection spell on a diamond?
No, it says creature. It does specify creature.
It specifies creature.
Probably get away with mending.
Diamonds were creatures at one point in time.
That's a good point.
They've gone through so many. That's like saying anything that's made of carbon was a creature at some point.
Or water.
You can't cast resurrection on the ocean.
There's more bones in the ocean than every graveyard imaginable, dude.
I'm so ready for
Now,
this.
okay, hold up. Were diamonds creatures, or have diamonds become creatures? Gnomes came from diamonds. Gnomes came from gemstones.
He's not wrong.
So then...
But the gemstones themselves are not gnomes.
But the gemstones themselves are not gnomes.
So you could resurrect a gnome, but not a gemstone.
Right.
It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to stay up to date. If you want to see more from us, check out the links to our social media in the description below. And if you have any suggestions about our next video, please leave a comment as well.